Did you know that studying is not going to get you that fantastic grade you're looking forward to in the math exam? Yes, it's not going to do the job. It's not enough. Hello, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for stopping by. I'm Omotayo, and I'm here to help you get the excellent grade you're looking forward to in that math exam. Right here on my phone, I have a couple of things that I believe you need to get acquainted with or get ready with so that you can get that grade you deserve. Thanks. Stay with me. Now, the very first one is related to that intro. You don't just study math, you practice mathematics. You practice exam-style questions to prepare for your math exam. It's not good enough to just flip through your textbook or watch someone else solve the questions like watch one of my YouTube videos. Yes, I would like you to do that, but it's not good enough. You need to actually practice the questions yourself. Assume you do not know the solution, look at the question, get pen and paper and write it down. In fact, it's not good enough to just practice it on your tablet or on an electronic device, especially if you're going to be doing a paper-based exam. Ensure that you're used to practicing exam-style questions. And practicing them is not good enough yet. You need to practice them on the exam conditions. What do I mean? You make sure that the environment you're in is very quiet, and then you get your pen and paper ready to answer the question. Aside from your environment, you need to plan to practice those exam style under timed conditions. You need to practice those exam style questions under timed conditions. It's not good enough to spend, say, 20 minutes solving a 5-mark question. Yes, you have answered the question, but just imagine this was the exam hall and it took you 20 minutes to answer a question that is just 5 marks. That's not good enough. Why am I saying that? Most exams are timed. Take, for example, the Cambridge IGCSE mathematics paper will be for 2 hours and you'll be working for 100 marks. So that means on the average, you have 1 minute to earn 1 mark and leaving you with 20 extra minutes to go through your work. So if you have spent a whole 20 minutes answering one question that is just for 5 marks, then you have not done well enough. So please practice exam style questions and ensure you are practicing them under exam conditions, and be mindful of the time. Time is of the essence. Now, moving on to the next tip. Before the exam, you need to pack your pencil case ready. Yes, not on the day of the exam. Don't be a student that scrambles around on the morning of the exam looking for, oh, I need a pencil there, I need a pen there. No, 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 no. That's not good enough. You need to make sure that you have a packed pencil case ready for the exam. What should be in your pencil case? It depends on the exam you're writing. If you're writing a calculator-based exam, know that aside from your writing materials and your mathematical set, you are going to be needing a scientific calculator, a functional scientific calculator. What do I mean? Confirm that that calculator works. Yes, I know some calculators get crazy. They just decide that they are not working anymore on the morning of the exam. But please, ensure you check that your calculator works before the exam, and ensure that you're familiar with your calculator. What do I mean? You want to enter the exam hall with a brand new calculator right out of the box. No, 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 no. Please don't do that. It's not a good idea. You need to be familiar with your calculator. You need to know how to turn it on to start with. You need to know how to switch off that calculator. You need to know where the turn button is, where the second function is, and all the likes. You wouldn't be able to do that with a brand new calculator you have not used before now. So please ensure your calculator works. And if you must buy a brand new one, ensure that you have tested it out. All right. Now let's move on to the next tip. Every single math exam question comes with an instruction page. The front cover of a typical math exam paper contains a couple of instructions. Now, please, You see, the thing is, many students wait till the exam hall, or they just assume that, oh, I know what is there. Don't do that. Days, weeks before your exam, sit down and read through the instructions on the front cover of your math exam paper. What would that do for you? It helps you to understand the instructions. It helps you to already know what to expect. Typically, the instruction page does not change over time. Here on the screen, you can see the cover page of a Cambridge IGCSE math exam paper. You can see that here you're required to use a dark blue or black pen. You're required to give your answer to a specific degree of accuracy if the question or if the answer is not exact. You need to know all of this way ahead of time, not on the exam morning when you're already anxious and then you're trying to figure out, oh, what am I supposed to do here? What is required for this particular kind of question? And they said I need to approximate this answer and is in degrees. The instruction here says you need to approximate angles to 1 decimal place, whereas other values that are not exact are to 3 significant figures. Do you understand what I'm saying here? You need to make sure you understand the specific instructions that are given on the front cover of your exam paper. Now you are ready, you have prepared, you have practiced your questions, you have practiced all the exam questions, you have made sure that you have studied, your pencil case is packed, you're familiar with your calculator. It's the night before the math exam. What should you do? Eat and sleep. Yes, you need to sleep. You need to rest. You need to be well rested and energetic on the day of your math exam. Please, don't say, oh, I need to study into the exam hall. I'm still preparing. No, you need to rest. I'm not saying you shouldn't prepare, but you need to be well rested to write the correct answers or to attempt your questions properly in the exam hall. If you're not well rested, it's not likely you produce the best result. So please, and please, the day before the exam, ensure you rest. And on the exam morning, please have something to eat. If you're not a morning person, that is, you do not like to have a breakfast or anything, that's fine. But if you're someone that would usually have food to eat in the morning, please ensure that you have eaten and you're ready to go. So eat and sleep. Rest is critical before a math exam. You want your brain to function optimally in that exam hall. Up next, remember it's now exam day and you're in the exam hall. You ate the night before. You made sure that you're well rested. You're looking at the question paper. What should you do? Should you dive right in and answer the questions? Not yet. You need to read the instructions again on that front cover. Write your name, write your exam number, and read the instructions. It is very, very important. Yes, I know I said earlier that you should read the instructions before the exam day, but now it is exam day. You need to remind yourself of what you're supposed to do. All right, you have read the instructions. It's time to address the questions. Go through the question paper and check for the questions you're more comfortable answering. There is no rule that says you must start from question number 1. Seriously. No rule says you must answer question 5 before question 10. I'm just giving that as an example. But usually, typical math paper, the first set of questions are easier and then it gets more interesting. You know what I mean? As you go along. So please, do the questions in the order you're most comfortable with, but ensure you attempt every single question. You see, when you don't attempt a math question, you're making the examiner's work way easier. If you have written nothing, the examiner has nothing to assess, so the person moves on. But if you have written something, then the examiner is obliged to look at what you have written down. So please ensure that you attempt all questions. Ensure that you attempt all questions. You know something about it. Remember, you studied and you practiced. So you know something about it. Write something down. Don't leave blank spaces. No blank spaces. Ensure you attempt every single question. Now, while attempting these questions, just before you attempt the question, ensure that you have read the particular instruction given for that question. Sometimes for certain questions, you're given specific instructions. Have you been asked to leave your answer as a third? Have you been asked to leave your answer in terms of pi? Whatever that specific instruction is, ensure that after working it out, you have obeyed that instruction. Your answer has been given in the required degree of accuracy or in the required form as stated in the question. All right, what do I have here next? Please be mindful of your decimal points. Sometimes you've answered the question, it's looking really pretty, it's looking really nice, you believe you have done a good job, and the answer is supposed to be, say, 25.667, and then you have written 256.67. What's wrong there? You have misplaced the decimal point. So please watch it. Ensure you have written your decimal point clearly where it should be. Now, still talking about your answers, please be mindful of premature approximation. Be mindful of premature approximation. What do I mean by that? You understand the question, you have answered it, but the question has, say, 3 steps of working. And from the very first step, you are approximating your answers. Please don't do that. If you approximate from the very first step, then by the time you're getting to the final leg of your workings, most likely your answer is way off from what is expected. So do not approximate too early. In fact, I would suggest that for every mark question, as much as possible, work with fractions and not decimals. Yes, you know your fractions, you cannot approximate your fractions. But decimals, you can choose to cut off a couple of decimal places. Oh, do you mean I should do that for every question? Of course, I know that's not possible for every question. But as much as possible, ensure that you have answered the question, given your answers, given your workings remain in fractions, and then the final answer is what you put to the required degree of accuracy. And sometimes some questions come with circles and the rest of it. You know, if you're working with a circle, then you have pi hanging somewhere there. If there's a pi in the question, work in terms of pi until your final answer and then evaluate it. I'm not saying you should leave all answers in terms of pi, only if the instruction says so. But if you can work in terms of pi, you retain the integrity of your answer until the final answer. Okay, do you understand what I mean? You retain the integrity of your solution until the final step. All right. Now, what do we have here? We've talked about hasty approximation. We talked about rounding. We've talked about making sure that you read the specific instruction for the question. I think you're done with the exam now. You have answered every single question. You have attempted every single question. Remember, no blank spaces. You have attempted every single question and you're done. Lucky you, you practiced well and you were able to get some time left after you're done, but the exam isn't over. Should you submit? Of course not. Go over that paper. Check your work. Check every single question. Think about it. Have you provided the best answer possible for this particular question? Have you answered to the required degree of accuracy? Have you given the answer in the form required for that particular question? Check all of this. And some students say, oh, I've checked, you just rush through it. Please don't rush through it. I usually tell my students this. If you're checking your work, assume you didn't write it. Check it like it's for another student that you are trying to ensure this student gets the best grade possible. Maybe your bestie. Oh, I'm checking my bestie's script and I want to make sure my bestie has done the very best, has done the very correct thing, and that before the teacher sees this, I can help correct whatever errors. If you think like that, then you are more likely to spot the errors. But if you just gloss through it and just flip the pages, you might not catch those errors, those plus and minus errors. those decimal points that you put in the wrong location, giving your answer in its exact form instead of approximating to the required degree of accuracy. The question has said give your answer to 4 significant figures, and you have chosen, because you are used to seeing this question written as 2 significant figures or 3 decimal places, you have done that. When you're checking over, is a good time to read the instruction again and check that you have answered the question the way it should be answered. After going through this, I guess it's time up. The exam is over. Well done. You've done a fantastic job. All you have left is to hand in your paper and hope for the best. I hope you have enjoyed watching this video. Thank you for staying with me till this very end. Have you subscribed? I'm certain you got value from this video. Please subscribe, like, and share with that bestie of yours. Remember, that bestie you want to help check their script. And see you in the next one. Thank you. Bye.